Welcome to the animated recap. Guys, when the Ice Age movie was released, then its first part was much successful, that was released in 2002. And after that, this franchise was moved forward and another part of this movie was released. The new part was known as Ice Age, The Meltdown, that was released in 2006. In this part, we are shown such animals that are not even existing in today's era, so let's go and watch the second part of Ice Age movie. The movie starts with the same squirrel who has acorn. Last time, the squirrel had tried a lot to hide the acorn in ice and had made the ice mountains into large cracks, but this time when the squire strikes any place of the ice, then water comes from that holes with much pressure. She tries a lot to control the water, but then a hole opens from where water comes with much pressure into the stomach of the squirrel and she fly on much height and then fallen back at the surface. Then the scene changes to all the other animals, where the animals thinks that it going global warming, and due to this some of the animals were happy while other animals were worried. Anyhow, due to the warming, it has become very lovely slides that were just like water park for the baby animals. Here we see Sid, where all the other baby animals were not giving value to Sid and were underestimating him. Now when Manny and Diego comes, then they first scold the baby animals, but later for their happiness, Manny and Diego too started having fun with Sid. Here, Manny tells all the other animals about the story of last part. Then we see an animal was trying to influence other animals for selling his products. He was saying that within the next 5 days, lots of water will come and all the animals will get drowned in it. Then Manny and Diego came there and scolds that animals and told the other animals to not believe him. They also told that years ago, the same ice was here, and it's again today and will be in future too, but you people don't need to be worried about. Meanwhile, they see that Sid was up to the mountain for suicide. Now Diego and Manny had reached up to the mountains for saving the life of Sid and were shouting on him, asking that why are you doing this? Then Sid says, I will jump from here, but Diego says that he will not jump and is a liar, but then Sid really jumped from the peak, but Manny catches him. Then they see from far away that snow is melting and this huge mountain will not control the coming water. It means that the flood of water will really come and they will have to inform all the animals after going down. Now Manny, Sid and Diego comes down and informs all the animals that we must leave the place as the flood is about to come here. Then the animals replies to Manny that a short time ago, you were saying that we are all safe and nothing will happen to us. Here we see a vulture who was telling other animals that really a flood is coming and if you people will not reach to the bank side then you all will get sink and you people are in the area like a ditch where the water will go first. He further says that as long as you people will be dying, we will have more to eat. Due to this, all animals gets worried and starts taking their families and runs from there. Due to this global warming, some of the dangerous animals that were freeze in the ice comes out. Manny was the last mammoth. Other animals telling their babies that look at this, Manny is last mammoth, so is much important. Then Manny says that it's not like this, there would be other animals too and I believe that I am not the last mammoth. Then we see that a little animal left behind and was moving in the water but then got disappeared, which conclude that the dangerous animals have come and eaten that little animal. Here the squirrel was trying to find her acorn, but this time the acorn goes down from the layer of the ice. Then the squirrel comes up but the acorn goes down, and she tried to catch the acorn and finally she finds the acorn, but when she came to pick the acorn then it was gone much away. Now Manny, Diego and Sid were going forward and Sid and Diego too were thinking that Manny is the last mammoth on this earth. Now Manny listened the voice of a mammoth and ran fast towards that side. Diego and Sid too were running behind him. When they reached there, they saw another animal who was using the voice of a mammoth. Then Manny too started thinking that he may be the last mammoth, and then after going forward they sees a possum with whom Sid and Diego started playing. Then at little distance, Manny sees a mammal who was hanging with a tree. Manny was not believing that finally he found a mammoth, and Manny is now not the last mammoth. She tells her name as Ellie and also an opossum, not a mammoth. Manny tries to convince Ellie that you are not an opossum but a mammoth, but she was not believing him. Ellie had never played with other animals, so when Diego, Manny and Sid takes her along with them, then she was escaping time to time. Then Manny tells her that no one will pick you, as you are a big mammoth and no one can ever pick you. Then all these animals along with other animals goes forward, and in their way a huge ground of ice was there, and then when they goes forward then Sid falls into water. Manny runs to save him, but then Manny come to know that there are strange type creatures in the water. After that the Ellie runs from there along with the opossum, but Manny started facing those creatures of the water and Manny wins too. Then they comes out and Manny thinks that Ellie will get happy because of the win, but Ellie started telling that mammoths are disappearing from the earth just because they think that no one can beat them. Furthermore, she tells that if you would have run away then we'll be safe. Meanwhile, Sid came to know that Diego fears of waters and cannot go into water. On the other side, we see the same squirrel with the acorn as she had it now, but then lots of fishes came and take the acorn away of her. Then the squirrel gets angry and kills every fish in a very bad way, and a severe fight have been happened between them, but the squirrel did not get the acorn. Here the opossums were going on long distance and told Manny and Sid to give us faith so that we can reach quickly. And when they reached there, one of the opossum falls while trying to up on a tree, and then Ellie started scolding Manny that why he allowed them to go there if anything would have happened to them. After that, Sid and Diego wanted that Manny talks Ellie and to take her with him. In the way, Manny and Ellie talks each other, and Manny tells her that we two mammoth are the last mammoths, so we probably should think about our future, else we will disappear from the earth. After that, Ellie gets angry and was not agreeing with any statement of Manny, and she gone forward with her opossums. Then Sid and Diego asks Manny that whether anything fruitful happened between them. And Manny replied no. She got even much angry. The place where they had reached was known to Ellie as in her childhood. She was stuck in this place. Here Ellie and her two opossums crash, and Eddie who were telling her that now we will make you travel in the night. Then Manny tells them that we don't need to travel in the night as we cannot see anything, but then Ellie replies that you don't need to be worried about it, but just go with us. Now we see the squirrel again who had the acorn in her hands, but then a vulture comes and take the acorn away. When the squirrel had reached to pick the acorn, then she see a little vulture there, and they both fights for getting the acorn. Then mom of that vulture comes there and throws away the squirrel from the nest. In the night here, Sid tells Diego that you need to end the phobia of fear from water, and said that I too was feeling fear of water previously, but then I learned how to swim, so you too need to learn it as you may need it in sometimes. But Diego had much fears of water, as he was thinking that whenever he will go to the water, he will get drowned. Here, some arguments were made between Ellie and Manny, and due to which, Ellie gets much angry and goes away in separate from them. Now they reaches to a mountain where the stones of the below mountain were very small, and they reached to a completely swinging stone, where Diego tries to convince Manny to say sorry to Ellie, but before Manny say sorry, Ellie herself accepted that she have shown him attitude and said sorry to him. Now both the mammoths started connecting their trunks so that the swing stone remains stable. On the other side, Sid was the first one to reach, and two opossums also have reached there. Now the stone was about to break, then Manny runs and takes Ellie along with him. Here Ellie thinks that if Manny was not here, then who will have saved her today? They all had become good friends and were thinking about staying for the night. We see that the wooden piece on which Sid was sleeping had started movement. Now here were neither one nor two but a complete group of sloths, and they all were considering Sid as the fire god, as Sid had introduced how to make fire. Sid burns some fire by mistake, and due to this all the sloth calls Sid as fire god and takes him to a volcano and tells Sid that if we have to stop the global warming and stay alive then we all need to get revelation from Sid. Sid says that nothing is like that, and you people have misunderstanding, but the sloths says that only these things can save them and throws Sid into the volcano, but Sid survived and was thrown to a place where he exactly falls in among his friends. Here they all were awake and Sid was trying to the story of last night and told that you people had to see that how respect the other sloths were giving me, but at the same time, they thrown me to the volcano. In the way they see a group of vultures, who all were thinking that they will get so much of meal as no one will stay alive, and in the flood, everyone will die. Now, Manny sees the bank where a very large piece of wood was there which they were calling as boat. At the same time all the other animals were going towards that side, but there in the straight paths, continuously the land was breaking and gases were coming out. Due to this, Ellie was in fear and told them not to go there. She was telling that we can choose another path, but we should not follow this path as we may die due to burning, but Manny says that choosing another path will take lot of time, so we must follow this very path. Then, Ellie takes both of Crash and Eddie while Sid and Diego started going behind Manny. After some time, a blast occurs in front of Manny and he thought that he get died, but then Diego made him stand and told that we all should need to go from here quickly and says that water is about covering all this place, but after some time, they finds the rally of all other animals and Manny started searching Ellie there as he think that she should have reached here now. Here we see the squirrel with her acorn, and she sees that the vulture flew away from there. Then the squirrel thinks that what's happening? Then the mountain falls down, and the water that was stored due to the mountain completely falls down. On one side all animals started running, and Ellie too came to know that water is about filling, but she got stuck inside stones. Ellie throws Crash and Eddie from a small hole and tells them that you people should make safe yourselves. Crash and Eddie runs to find Manny and told him that Ellie is in trouble and stuck in stones and you will have to go with us for saving here. Manny, Sid and Diego immediately started running for the help of Ellie. Now the level of water was much high and Sid wanted to help Ellie and jumped into the water, but his head bumps with an ice stone, due to which he gets faint, and even Crash and Eddie could not save him. Finally, Diego, after taking a long breath as he was feeling fear of water, jumps into the water for saving Sid. Diego had saved the lives of all three, Crash and Eddie and Sid. On the other side, Manny was trying to remove the huge stones and also had pushed a wooden piece so that water cannot reach inside the place where Ellie was stuck. This time, the creatures inside water had seen Manny and were coming to eat him, but Manny pushes them away inside the water. As long as the two creatures comes to eat Manny, then Manny turns aside and they both collided with a wood and that huge stone sided away from the place. Here, Diego, Sid and both the Opsons were waiting that why Manny and Ellie did not come so far, and just after few seconds, Manny and Ellie comes out from there. They all look at the large piece of the wood in which all the animals were there. They all were thinking that it's their last day today, as they all will get drowned and die. Then we see the same squirrel who was trying to hide her acorn, and in this struggle, she had reached to the very top. But when she reached on the peak, the mountains breaks and the squirrel was hanging with the two parts of the mountains and then fallen. Now, when a much space was occurred between the broken parts of the mountain, and all the water goes from that space and falls down. Now all the animals were safe and had reached to a normal surface. Here, all the sloths were there and had bowed down to Sloth and says that Fire God, you have saved us and now stay with us and own us. Then Diego said that Sid is our need as he made our group. Here Manny and Ellie were standing and they see a large group of mammoths coming there. Then all thinks that Manny and Ellie are not the last mammoths, and Ellie says that we should go with them and tell that now as I have accepted that I am a mammoth, so I will stay with them. Then Manny avoids here from going with other mammoths and tells that just want you to be happy. Ellie thinks that Manny will stop her from going, but when he did not stop her, then she goes along with Crash and Eddie. Now, Sid and Diego tells Manny that why you don't stop her, go there and we both can live here. Manny runs faster and reach Ellie and says that now we will live together and I will not leave you. Sid and Diego were left alone and were about to go alone, but then Manny and Ellie comes from behind and says that we will not leave our group as from now, we are us. In the end of the movie, we see the same squirrel who was when fallen from that height, directly had reached the heaven where she sees lots of acorns. Then she sees a very huge acorn and started going for eating the acorn, but something was pulling her backside. Now we see that the squirrel was made safe by Sid and had brought her to the earth from heaven, due to which the squirrel gets much angry and starts hitting Sid badly. The story of this part of the movie ends here, and we hope that all of you would have liked this video. In next videos, we will come here with more interesting animated movies. Don't forget to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon.